Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Take Your Mark podcast. I'm your host, Emmy.
And I'm Ruchi.
And this is part 2 with our very special guest,
Kyle. I don't know if I was supposed to say my name or not there, but I'm here again. They kept me. They said, Kyle, you're doing 2. And I said, please, I haven't eaten in days.
That is a lie. I gave him Cheez-Its.
It's actually true. I did steal those.
Well, I gave them. But anyways, okay. So this is, if you can't tell, this is the second episode we're filming today. We filmed part 1 with Kyle talking about his fitness journey, especially around lifting, which is like his big thing. And yeah, now we're going to get into our second topic, which is
Injuries.
woo!
We love injuries.
I love getting injured. It's my favorite thing.
But yeah, since we just filmed, we'll mostly be skipping our typical, talking about our week.
What'd you guys do this week?
I went climbing. We already talked about
We
that.
should.
So.
How about perspective? What do you guys think you're gonna do in 2 weeks?
Work.
I don't even know.
Swim.
I don't even know what I'm having for dinner tonight. How am I supposed to know what I'm doing in 2 weeks?
Get your life together. No, I'm kidding.
So, injuries. I haven't really had many injuries. I know you've had a lot, and I know you've had a lot. Would you like to talk about what injuries you have had? And then, when and just all the details with the injuries you've had.
Give us your medical history.
So I was
Yeah.
diagnosed. No, I'm kidding. Especially when it comes to fitness, my injury history was good for a while. I think I really started to notice that things were a little odd was when I was running in high school, and my ankles would hurt, and my feet would hurt, and my knees would hurt. And it was a stability issue for one, but also I just have flat feet. So that's an unfortunate one for me. I take that L with stride. But right, that was pretty good.
I got that too. I just didn't say anything.
I need the brownie points right now.
Need the external validation.
Oh yeah, because I'm injured. Anyway, when I started lifting, for a while, I was going pretty good, going pretty steady. No real issues with injury or like pain. Just besides, getting big muscles. I was barely making any progress, but I first started feeling some like rotator cuff pain. I think after about a year of lifting, just probably from bad form mostly. But it wasn't until like my freshman year of college, like about a year in as well, where I was going to do incline dumbbell bench, and I had 50s in my hand, and I was going to move one to my knee, and my wrist and I fractured it.
You were just picking it up, and it just
Putting it on my knee, and I just
that's unfortunate.
it was horrible. And it wasn't horrible because it wasn't like it hurt, but like it wasn't like the worst thing. Now, granted, do I get wrist pain just sometimes now? Yeah, but what are you gonna do? And that was the one thing I've one time actually broken a bone, and it was such a little baby boy way to break a bone too. Like, come on, like picking up the weight, like I wasn't even doing the workout yet. I didn't even get there.
Oh, I've got a story. Well, once we get to my injuries, I've got something that will probably make you feel better.
Let's go. And then besides that, after I kind of healed mostly before I really went back into working out. And then since then, my body has been deteriorating at a rate that is frankly shocking. Like I will just get knee pain. I will get pain in the insides of my legs and my shoulders, and my back and my lower back especially. I have the body of a 90-year-old man. I will just get pain in my joints and my wrists and my knees, whatever it may be. I've come to find out that arthritis runs in my family. Super swag. Love that.
Wow.
And yeah, I guess right now, because I've gone through some physical therapy, and I've kind of learned of ways that I can mitigate pain. In many cases, I've literally just entirely got rid of it because I've trained the right stabilizer muscles, or I've gotten better with my form, or I've just trained the right muscle to stop imbalances, which is like I had a shoulder pain because my muscles in my chest had gotten bigger than muscles in my back, and it was causing like my shoulder to like pinch a nerve in some way. That's a flex for me, actually. I got so big that it became a problem. But yeah, no. Now it's kind of just I have some lingering pain that I'm working on now, and like I kind of fell off with like getting my like leg balance because I had issues with balance that were causing me like foot pain for a while, and I went to PT. I got that fixed, and then I like kind of fell off doing it, and now it hurts again. I know, I can't believe it.
Shocking.
It's actually messed up that they're doing this to me. I think it's big PT trying to get me back in there, but I won't do it. But yeah, no, right now it's kind of just working to strengthen the places that are like causing me pain in terms of like making myself stronger so I don't have the pain anymore. But I really haven't had too many major injuries, thankfully. A lot of just slow build up kinds of pain, which is the worst kind, I think.
So now, Emmy, talk about your major injuries.
I was going to segue,
Okay.
but you cut me off, actually.
Oh, were you? I'm sorry.
No, actually, I don't care. You're not going to... Ruchi, how about you? How about injuries? What have you been doing?
Me,
Honestly,
go for it. Me and injuries. Injuries. So I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I've gotten like I don't really have that much in terms of like injuries. Like I did sprain my ankle at one point, which kept me out of the pool for a couple weeks of meets. But it wasn't too bad of a sprain that I was out for like a long time. And I was able to get back in pretty quickly because like I was pretty good about resting and not, pushing too hard. And also at the time, this was like before I was even into lifting or going to the gym. So it was only swimming for me. So I was just like sitting around and doing nothing. And that allowed me to just get back in the pool. And two, I think in the pool, like having the water is also good for injuries a lot of the times, like just being in the pool too. So that also helped. Besides that, not really ever, no injuries, not really. I mean, I had lower back pain recently. I was telling you about this. I did have lower back pain recently. Well, anyway, Emmy, do you want to talk about
yes.
your injury?
Yeah.
What's
I can talk
wrong
about
with
mine.
you?
So injuries. We'll start with the one that was like, I think this will make you feel better. I broke my foot jumping into a pool.
Let's go. No, I'm kidding.
like you were saying, not even doing the workout. Literally just jumping in at the beginning of practice, hit my foot on the bottom and broke it, was out for 6 weeks.
Was it a shallow pool?
It was 9 feet deep.
Dense as hell. What the hell?
Okay, so I thought I was in like the 12-foot section of the pool. I just was not paying attention because depending on the day it was, the lanes we were in for practice moved. So just like in my head, for whatever reason, we were in the 12-foot area. I just was like on autopilot, not thinking about it. But instead we were on like the slope still down to the deep end. And so I jumped in, didn't bend my knees at all because I thought the ground was going to be 3 feet farther away. And because it was on a slope, one of my feet just like slammed into the ground really hard. And then I like...
Well, I was going to say, so your legs were fully straight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah.
Youch.
Yeah, and I like didn't realize at first, so I like finished swimming warm up, and I was like, okay, this like still really hurts whenever I push off the wall. So then I got out, and
Wait, I did the same thing when I after I hurt my wrist. I was like, oh, it can't be that bad.
exactly, yeah, because it's like it hurts, but sometimes like, oh, like I've hit my foot before. You slam your hand into a lane line, it hurts really bad, but like you're fine,
Yeah, of
So I
course.
just kind of like kept going for warm ups, but I was like, okay, this actually really hurts still. So then I got out, and my coach was like, yeah, just like sit out for a minute. You probably like pinched a nerve or something, just like landing on it funny. And then as I'm sitting there, like my foot starts swelling up and like the bottom of my foot is purple. Like it, yeah. So that was my first like major injury. And then I've had like some minor stuff here and there. I have like, I still don't really know what it is. I just get like chest pain sometimes. Especially like it makes it so I can't really breathe out all the way without it feeling like something's like pulling is gonna like pop. So that's kind of annoying, but like it kind of comes and goes.
Wait. Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Yes.
Did you mention, was this the thing that one happened at practice with your rib, or is that different?
So I kind of have two different chest things. So there's that one where like sometimes it just hurts to breathe. A lot of times that is related to stress. I've heard some people call it something similar, at least like costochondritis. I don't know if that's what I have, but it's in like your chest wall. It's not my heart or my lungs. It's like the chest wall and like the cartilage in like, you know, your rib cage. And so it just like sometimes it just hurts. And then
you got bad bones.
Yeah. And then the other thing with my chest is that it just pops sometimes, like my sternum. I'll be breathing out and it just kind of like it's kind of like pressing a little button is what it feels like, where it just like
wait.
like that's what I'm saying, where it just like pops. Like I mean, I can't press on it to do it, but like that's the sensation of it, would be like a button being pressed, and it just, like it doesn't hurt, but it just every time I breathe out it just like pops.
It doesn't hurt though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels weird.
I think you mentioned this in a
Yeah.
previous episode too.
I think I have. And I also remember I kept like trying to get, you know, I was like on the wall breathing while we were swimming. I was like, Ruchi, feel my ribs. And they're popping.
She did do that.
Oh, you told me this.
Well, it's because I think, was that one of the days where she left practice early?
I think it was. I think because I was just like not feeling great. And that was one of the first times that I noticed that happening. That is the more recent development. So
I think your words, Ruchi, were, yeah, she was fake.
No, I definitely didn't say
No,
fake, but I said she ditched me or something.
yeah, which is like I did, but
no, your ribs were literally popping. I think
Thank
that if anything,
my ribs were popping.
they were kind of serving. Can't even lie. No, but like that.
So that thing, again, I haven't gotten any of these like officially diagnosed. My mom's a doctor though, so I just talked to her about stuff. And she said that apparently my dad used to have a similar thing where like it would like kind of describe similarly how I described it, and like his sternum just didn't fully fuse, which is apparently like somewhat common. And like it doesn't hurt.
Source?
I don't know. My mom.
I made it up, but it was said on a podcast, therefore it's true.
It's on the internet, so.
And I believe everything on there. Everything.
But like I said, that one is just kind of like, I don't even consider those injuries necessarily, because like they're annoying, but they're not like, you just kind of deal with them in the moment and then they're fine.
I mean, they are injuries.
That's an injury, I think.
It's an injury, even if it
Oh,
doesn't
you know,
like, bother you that much.
My chest wall is kind of broken, but I'm not injured.
And then like the other thing that I consider an injury personally, I mean, I guess my knees hurt pretty consistently.
Real.
That's just a result of swimming breaststroke, honestly.
Real.
Like that, and then running. I also know for women, apparently, like it's really normal for like your outer quad to be stronger than like the inner one. And so like that can kind of pull your kneecap, like it causes it to kind of like some inflammation there. And that's like a common thing in women. And then the other thing is I like tore my shoulder at one point, and that like actually took me out for a bit as well. That was a really roundabout way of getting there.
That's a pretty major injury for the shoulder.
Yeah, that's the one where like, you know, I went and got like an MRI done, went to PT for 6 weeks. It still hurts now. It's been 3 years, you know, like that was a major one.
Did you tear the rotator cuff?
I tore my labrum, which is not your, it's in the same area of the rotator cuff.
Yeah.
It's the thing that goes, like if the mic is my arm, the labrum is like the cartilage that like holds it. So it's like that in your shoulder. And
you ripped that.
And I tore the front of it. So like they were saying, and I also apparently had injured it before this and just like didn't know, because I had like some attenuated tendon that didn't heal right. And then looking back, I was like, oh yeah, my shoulder did hurt every time I did the specific movement, and I just kind of ignored it. So, but like my shoulder can like kind of partially dislocate to the front because like it's torn there. Yeah.
I'm actually shocked. My shoulders used to crack like big time. I would be like, yo, I relate to you. My shoulders have been screwed for a while, but I think they've been getting better. Either way, that's bad. That's real bad.
It is bad.
I can't lie. That's horrible. Like, so You said you tore it while climbing?
Yes. So I was at climbing, and I don't even really remember like doing it necessarily. It was just like I got home after being at like climbing club that night, and I was just like, something just doesn't feel right. I didn't even register it as pain that night, but I was like, something feels off. And so I like took a video of like moving my arm around and like where it hurt and sent it to my mom. And then she was like, yeah, you should probably get that checked out.
And you're like, do I got to? Like, do I have to go to the ER? She's like, yeah.
Like, kind of, yeah, because this was
No, I get you.
also like sophomore year. I was taking 18 credits. Like, I was busy, so I didn't want to deal with this.
No, I get you. Dude,
Real.
nothing is worse than like trying, like getting injured like that when you're like at your like peak. You can't afford to lose, or like getting sick.
Yeah.
That's horrible. But
But yeah, so that's like one guy checked out. They scheduled me for an MRI. They were like, yeah, it's torn. Which, as a side note, have either of you guys had an MRI before?
I'm too goated for that.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I've had X-ray, MRI, CT scan, and an ultrasound at this point, actually. The ultrasound was of my neck, by the way. I don't have a child.
New lore.
I didn't even instantly think child.
Honestly, I did, 'cause I didn't know if it was used for anything else.
Well, so,
I knew that it was used for other things, but
I mean, I'm dumb.
but like when I had to schedule it, my mom was like, oh, you should go to, like, they had appointments at the women's hospital. And I was like, I don't think that's what those ultrasounds are for.
You look at my neck, they're like, what? I don't think I've gotten like X-rays done in my teeth.
same.
I know, big.
I had an X-ray of the ankle.
Wait, no, I got X-ray done on my wrist when I had it sprained, and they were like, it's like kind of broken, or like kind of sprained. And I was like,
Kinda.
okay, great. They're like, you want some steroids? I was like, sure. And I never got them. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, the point of that was being when you get an MRI with contrast, they like add stuff to make it easier to like see what's going on. I didn't realize you'd be able to see the contrast on the surface. So I was looking at my shoulder and I just had this giant like red ring where they had like injected the contrast, and it was really weird looking. But anyways, moving on. So in terms of the injuries that you have had, it sounds like a lot of them are more like chronic kind of things that like they're not an acute injury where you've done something wrong. It's more just like things you kind of have to keep dealing with.
My body loves chronic injury. It's like it's bread and butter. I don't know why, but it is. But yeah, most of the time it's just been like there's no like one event. I mean, besides me obliterating my wrist with the little baby dumbbell. Not actually, but most of the time it's just been like built up over time of poor form in the gym, or like not taking proper time to like stretch while running, or whatever that may be. Things like that, where it's just things that have built up over time and I didn't take care of them and I should have. Whereas I feel like with you, it seems like a lot more of like, yep, I broke my shoulder, I broke my foot, like much more acute.
I guess a bit, yeah. I definitely like have, like I said, with like my knees and my chest, I consider those more kind of like what you're saying for most of them, where it's like you just kind of have to deal with them, and like sometimes if it gets really bad, yeah, you take a little break and then you kind of come back. But yeah, the other two things were more like, okay, yeah, this is like actually stopping me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's it like being built correctly?
It's kind of shocking how I haven't had a shoulder injury, like, because I think I'm just really good at swimming backstroke to like offset, because backstroke offsets freestyle and butterfly, and that's all shoulder. So then if you do it the other way, so it that's I think what's been good. But honestly, injuries haven't stopped me as much as sickness has. So
which I think is also worth touching on.
Sure. I mean, I get sick all the time.
Dude, you are sick. Forget my language. You're sick as hell.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I've been pretty good with like, because I have post-nasal drip. So basically, after I swim, I get really congested. I sneeze I just have to sneeze. I cough. Like that's what happens every time until like I shower and I get all the like chlorine and pool water off of me. But back in high school when it was like all the time, I would get sick like 4 times in a season, especially sophomore year was really bad. It was like sinus infection, time where I didn't have it, and then another one, and then another one. I think I had like 4 in a season. I think 4 sinus infections with like a slight gap, and then the next one, and then towards the end of the season, which was really bad, was that sinus infection led into like the flu, I think, or I got the flu. And then the flu turned into bronchitis and laryngitis at the same time. So I couldn't speak. Have you ever had laryngitis where you're supposed to be quiet?
No, I'm normal.
Well, I got laryngitis and so I couldn't speak. And it was funny because I was supposed to be teaching swim lessons and I was just like writing
ASL.
stuff down. Yeah.
This is an injury that like I think I haven't dealt with very much recently. I know you have though. That is unique to swimmer's ear. It's not really an injury.
Swimmer's ear is horrible.
It's bad.
We have my parents have a pool at their place, and growing up, like once a summer, I'd get it. And I'd be like, it was the worst pain ever. Not like actually, but like it was up there.
Yeah, I've dealt with it a lot.
I mean, that would make sense, all things considered.
So what I was gonna say was I am kind of insane. So when I would get sick, I would still push through it. So when I had sinus infections, I wouldn't get out until it felt like my ears, like I could feel all the pressure. And when I couldn't even, the second I would get in and I felt pain in my ear, it hit a point where it was so excruciating that I was like, okay, I can't swim anymore. That's the only time I left. Like I didn't leave before that. So even though I had a sinus infection, I was like, I'm still swimming.
Which is healthy.
No,
it's not.
Not
it's
exactly.
Not
but I guess that comes to the next point of like, how do you know when to push through an injury versus, take rest and, or even just modifying your workout to be more friendly to that injury?
I think lifters are the worst people to even ask this question because chronic rotator cuff pain is like super prevalent in lifting community. Like everyone, you could ask probably everyone in the gym if they have shoulder pain, and like I would argue over 50% would say yes. And
Wow.
we just deal with it, which is like a horrible thing to do. Like, I mean, like, and I did that for a while, but I decided that, I should probably actually take care of it, and I did, and I feel better. Like, it's mostly gone at this point. But when it comes to like modifying the workout or things like that, usually that's kind of involves going lighter. In my case, or I mean, that's what I did for a while until I realized like, okay, you can only go light for so long until you like try to up the weight again. You have the same problem. So like for me, I've been adding, like if I need to, I add like ways to train like stabilizer muscles or like just make myself more like injury resilient in that area. Mm-hmm. Adding those workouts to my workout and then like lowering the weight until I'm feeling better and stronger enough to go back up again. If I need to, I'll take breaks. Like I've taken some time off of the gym before to like really get my body aggressive. Like things are getting like too painful, that kind of thing. Or like I need to figure out, is this like an injury or like am I just like having, or I mean, it's an injury, but like is this like a broken bone? Like do I need to like actually like get professional help for this like thing I'm feeling, or is it like just like a passing pinched nerve or something like that? I'll take time off for that. What I have seen, what I do is like the only time that I'm really like, all right, no more gym right now, I can't do it, is when I get sick. If I am any bit sick, like it's like the plague hit me. I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm not going to the gym. I'm not pushed through a sinus infection. I'm not like going to the gym with like a bad cold. I'm just not doing it. I think that's like the limit for me, is like being sick. In terms of like if I have an injury, if my like elbow is hurting, I'll be like a little lighter today, and then I'm back in it next week. Next time I hit that muscle group, and I'm like whatever. But that's mainly what I do. Is that healthy? No. Definitely, I should have gone to PT much sooner than I did, because I had shoulder pain for 2.5 years before I went to get help for it, because it got bad enough. And then I went, and like within 6 weeks, I was like, my pain was halved or more. I was like, okay, I should have done this like a while ago. So don't listen to me for advice when it comes to getting injury and like letting yourself heal. You should let yourself heal. You listening, heal. What about you guys? How do we feel about rest and recovery and that kind of thing?
I feel like it's hard. There's kind of like, in my mind, there's different tiers of being injured. There's like okay, it's a little bit painful, especially this is just like, general muscle soreness or whatever. It's like, okay, it's a little painful, but you can push through it. It's fine. And then it gets a little bit more where it's like, okay, maybe I should modify the workout and like you said, go lighter. Or I think lifting is also unique in this regard where, you can do a workout that doesn't use, like, if my arm is hurting, I can just do legs.
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of unique in that regard where, like with swim, you're working out your whole body,
And like even beyond that, you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna lower the weights today. Like, sure, you could do less yardage in the pool, but like you're still doing the movement. Like, you go slower.
The only thing you can really do is like if you have an arm injury, you do kick, and if you have a leg injury, you do pull. That's kind of it. But then even with flip turns, or you wouldn't do flip turns, you then have to just touch and go. And I guess if you have an arm injury, you'd have to just push off the wall. Like it's much harder. Like it's not as conducive to injuries because you just have to push through it regardless if you're going to go to practice, pretty much.
Or you could just
you don't go to practice.
Or you take the time off and you heal.
Or you
don't
go to practice.
Which if we're all being honest with ourselves, I think that's the general solution.
I think that is often the start of what you have to do. And like sometimes that's enough. And I think that's kind of where sometimes it's like getting to the point where you acknowledge that like, okay, I actually need to take time off is hard. And then once you get past that, then you can kind of assess and be like, okay, yeah, I was just like, it was overworked. I'm tired, feeling better now. It was able to heal on its own. Or, okay, this is not getting better on its own. And that's when you have to like take the next step to go get it looked at by a professional. But I also wanted to say in response to you about like how hard it was, or like how you didn't take time off from going to practice when you had a sinus infection. I am interested how much that was. I don't think you can completely separate the two, but how much was that like because of how kind of intense the team was, and like if you didn't go to practice, you don't get to be in the meet. Like, do you think was it just? I'm assuming it was a bit of both, but was it more just like I want to swim, or do you think it was like kind of the consequences of that team structure?
I think both played a part. Like I would agree that like, if you're in a team where you have to go to practice, it's mandatory to go to a meet, then you're going to practice. I mean, you don't want to just go to a meet to watch the meet. And I can say that I'm sure you agree with me. But I think also too is that like I was so used to that consistent routine of like I swim this time to this time every day, right? So for me, like it was almost like I hated going away from that routine. And I mean, now, at least with the knowledge I have now, all I can think about is like that routine was so healthy for me, because like now I'm struggling to even get onto like a routine. Like it takes like a conscious effort. Whereas then I was so like locked in. I was so locked into the routine that it was like second nature. And so then when I had to rest, for me, I felt guilty because I was like I should be swimming right now. Like I should be, even though I was sick, right? Like in theory, I should be swimming, right? But then at the same time too, like sinus infections suck. And I got so used to like the feeling of it that I knew when it was coming. So like even now to this day, like when I start to feel my ears, like I feel like my ears feel congested, and then my nose feels even more congested, I start to like realize, okay, sinus infection is coming. I got to be prepared. Because I had a lot of issues, like I said, post-nasal drip. So like all of these pathways are connected, right? So there would be mucus, like just my like all of those pathways just full of mucus. So I'd just be dying pretty much.
That's
Um,
postnatal drip sucks.
it sucks.
It sucks.
And like I started to be better about taking like a saline spray like up my nose like after practice, because it got so bad to the point where like I said, I get congested after every practice. It's just sneezing. Like I don't know if it's like an allergy or if it's like it's a thing with chlorine, but I think like that's a thing, right? It's like,
Yeah, chlorine is like a lung irritant. So
yeah. So like I struggled a lot with that more than injury for sure. That was like the killer.
And before we move away from it, I do want to mention, because I was going to mention as well, the hardest part is like when it comes to trying to take time off with injury is breaking the routine, for one, because I feel like fitness in general is really momentum based.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You once you fall out of the cycle, it's hard to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
But then also the guilt. I think for you guys, like, or I guess for swim, having the team to like, they're like relying on you, quote unquote, like,
Yeah.
or like it's a situation like a program where you have to go to practice to go be able to swim in the meets. It's like you don't want to like take time. You don't want to take the time off because you don't want to let your team down.
Yeah.
Or like, but I guess in my case, I've set expectations for myself, and I'm like, I don't want to let myself down. So
Mhm.
I'm more hesitant to like take the time off that I need. And I found this to be a big issue for me, like trying to find the motivation to stop going. Because I was like, oh, sure, my wrist hurts today, but it is back day, and I kind of want to go. I don't want to be. I'm then like, and then when you take a week off or something like that, you're like, oh, it's over. All the gains are gone. There's nothing left, and it's like that's not how that works. Anyone needs to hear it, because I've been there. It takes over 3 weeks for you to lose any muscle, but it's gonna be longer. And also, if you lose some, your body, like, I think this is true. I think this is true potentially.
you're saying it on a podcast.
I'm saying on a
so it's
podcast,
true.
it's true.
It's on the internet.
Once you've built muscle, building that same muscle will happen faster. Like if you build muscle and lose some, getting back to that spot will happen very quickly, just because your body's already done it before. And it's like, oh, we're getting big again. Okay, and then it does it. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to bring that up real quick, because I think it's important.
No, I would definitely agree too with what you're saying about like, because most of my injuries happened in college, and like where there isn't as much of that team aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But even like when I hurt my shoulder, I hurt it in January and then got it checked out by a doctor, but I wasn't able to get an MRI until March. So I had like 2 months where I was like, something is wrong. I don't really know what. I was still climbing. I was still swimming, because I was like, I don't want to stop doing these things. Especially, I mean, for the most part, I was only climbing with one arm. So like I just kind of like tucked it in, and I would do like easier climbs with one arm and stuff.
It's kind of beast mode. I can't even lie.
It was actually really fun. And then like, but I was still swimming, because at that point too, it was like starting to lead up to nationals. I had like picked the events that I wanted to do. I think I swam in 2 meets after I hurt my shoulder, before I like got told no, stop swimming. And that's when I got like my best time too. So it was like,
I was about to say that's
No
the 24,
way.
right?
that's 24. Like,
Imagine if you weren't injured.
would have been great.
Work
You
back
think
up.
you would have gotten a 23?
Oh God, no. But maybe like
No.
24.97.
200ths of a second?
You'll all right. You gotta start training. Screw the half marathon. You gotta make back up that time.
Maybe. We'll see.
That's a no.
I mean, I would actually really like to do a triathlon at some point. That's kind of different than like that, but you know, anyways, but it was just like, you know, I, especially with nationals and like with climbing too, I felt like I was finally making progress. Like I was able to do like V4s pretty consistently. I was like, you know, like, oh, maybe I could work on some V5s before this happens. So it's like, I don't want to stop doing these things. Like, you know, I have these goals that are approaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, I will kind of adapt as much as I can. I definitely was not training as much at that point for swim, even though I was like, I think I would still go maybe once a week, but like I wasn't doing a lot because I was like, okay, I'll take it easy. But I was like, I'm not gonna stop. Like
You can't hold me down. I'm different.
And then like when I actually had a professional be like, no, so like we recommend you stop, or like don't do that for like 6 weeks. I was like,
You're banned.
Oh, okay. So like, what do I do?
You about to say
then?
what do I do now?
Yeah.
The answer was PT, but
Oh, not hobbies.
who has hobbies?
I mean, I will say that like she's fast. I'm decent. So we scored points. We scored points in high school. So they needed us. You know what I mean?
You ran the damn ball.
Huh?
You ran the
She's
damn
also
ball.
fast.
Ran the damn ball. Yeah, so like for example, like with the 500, like I was one of the point scorers. I mean, with IM probably and breaststroke, Emmy was one of the point scorers. So it was even more added pressure because we did make an impact when it came to meets and like scoring points. I don't know if we'd feel the same if we were slower. Who knows? Like, but I think that played a part in that pressure of like the team really needs us, you know? And like, if we don't go to practice, at least in my case, if I don't go to practice, I can't swim at the meet. They need me at the meet. So
When I was in high school, I was friends with more than a few swimmers. And they
Okay.
all were like, dude, I hate this so much. And I was like, all right, so quit. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to quit though.
We say that too, though.
like, we love it. I love it.
Yeah. No,
Like,
like
I've never said about a workout ever. Well, I lied. I rarely said about a workout. I'm like, oh, I got to go hit legs today. Like, I don't want to, but I'll do it. It's never like, I am loathing this workout. I do not want to go. Never.
I mean, I don't think we get that to that point either.
I don't think a lot of swimmers get that either. I think it's fun to complain and be like, oh my God, ugh, like I hate my sport because, like I feel like, I don't know, at least with the people in cross country who I was friends with too, like they hated that. But also you love it.
No,
I think most swimmers say that and still swim. Yeah. That's the thing is like, if you really hated the sport, just quit. It's not that hard to quit. But there's something about it, like that keeps you in. Like you start off with it, you keep going. If you're, especially I think the fast people, they hate it so much, but they're like, well, hold on.
But I'm good at this. Like,
I'm
I got
good.
to, which, and
I
you know what?
should stay.
I agree with both of you. I think you're right. I think, but in most cases, it was like this. But this one friend that I had, he really did hate it, which is hilarious because he kept doing it. And he joined another league.
That's what I'm saying.
Another
like,
team.
you can't hate it and just keep joining. Like, you can quit.
But like, no. Like, people talked about like jokingly. Like, I had cross country friends. I had swim friends. They were like, yeah, this shit sucks. And but because it was my best friend for like all of middle school too. Like, they would talk to me about it all the time, how much they hated swim. They didn't like it, and I was like, okay, like
then they should quit.
I know, but family pressure was for one thing, but also they were also kind of good at it.
See, that's what when you're good at it, and like I said, there's that pressure of
And
you,
he was
you
ginger.
score for the team. What does that have anything to do with it? Like when you score for the team like they need you, so then you have that added pressure on top of like, hey, we need you to score points. So then there's that, and that's why you're like expected to stay.
You
in the
can't
sport.
leave. We'll suck.
I mean, kinda.
No, that's
Yeah.
you're right. That's accurate.
Well, getting back on topic, after we philosophize how to actually enjoy a sport, once you have kind of like decided, hey, I need to take a break, or someone else has made that decision for you, which I think is sometimes the case, and then it's time to like start coming back, start doing PT, start doing the stuff again. Have you ever like found yourself kind of losing confidence and trusting what you're able to do, and how do you kind of build that back up, if you have?
No, I definitely think like once I took actually last summer I took 4 weeks off of the gym because I was just dealing with a lot of pain on different areas. I was like, okay, I need to reset, get back into it. And when I came back for the first time in like a month, you kind of had like a feeler day, right? I hit every muscle group, and like some kind of movement that I knew would like require me to test my strength and like using the whole like of my back or like my chest or like my legs. And in doing those like trial movements, figuring out like really what like I can still do or like what I need to work on, you're kind of taking benchmarks of like, okay, I can do this just fine. This kind of causes pain right now. And then try to like do research and figure out what I need to strengthen to do this, or like if I still need to take more time off as well. Because I think I did go back one day and I was like, I'm not ready yet. Took 2 more weeks off, and then I came back and I was like, okay, let's get started. But more so, like I definitely think you should lose confidence in your ability to do things before going back into a sport, because you don't want to jump back in right where you left off, because you're not going to be there. Like if we're being honest, like after 4 weeks of not lifting, if I went back to go try to, I don't know, pick up the same weights I was working with before, like that caused me injury for one, like that's going to end badly. You're going to re-injure yourself. And I've done that before, where I got back into the gym after like I took a week off or something like that because I was feeling a bit of pain, and I went too hard like the second day I was back, and I hurt myself again. And because of these experiences, I've kind of gotten better at the fact that yes, I need to take this time and like make sure my body is healed. I need to take the benchmarks to figure out like what needs to be worked on, what I can and can't do before actually like giving it my all again. And so far it's led to pretty good results. Like right now I'm currently trying to strengthen my lower back because my lower back's always been an issue for me, and actually working on it is something I've never done before. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing like, you know, like the machine in the gym where like it's like you're like laying on it, the pads are just on your thighs, and like you lean forward and you come back up. Yeah. I've been doing those a lot. They're kind of fun actually. I feel kind of silly doing them though, because I don't know. It's just a funny looking workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely just trying to figure out what you can do when you come back to the gym specifically, I think is easier than like I think some sports, just because like with weights, like it's literally a number, right? Like you can figure out like, okay, I can do this but not this, and you can work from there. And I'm curious to see like what it's like for swimmers or any other athlete, because for us it's just that.
I think it's hard. Like I definitely understand what you're saying with like you kind of can't come back with full confidence, because at that point that's just ego. Mm-hmm. Like you're not going to be back where you were. I think where I more struggle is that I'm like, I am hyper aware. Like when I came back and started swimming again with my shoulder, I was like hyper aware of like every feeling that was in there. And to your point, like it is different with swim. Like Ruchi was saying too, you kind of can't be like, oh, I'm just not going to use my leg or like my arm. If you're swimming, you're using it.
No chest today. Like
there's not enough variety for you to kind of like get rid of one muscle group. Like even if you have pain, like let's say like in your quad or something, right? Then you have to just get rid of legs altogether. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be like, I'm not going to use my quads today.
Like there's a lot less isolating you can do in swim.
It's and a great
so
point.
Like I would kind of like the best you can do is like take it slow, and like you have to build up yardage. You have to start with slower intervals because you haven't swam in a bit. So it's like you're going to feel like you're drowning a little bit, and it's fine.
Of course.
That's kind of just how it feels the first time you come back to swim. Like the muscle memory's there.
And I can attest to this, because what was it, 3 weeks ago I came back into the pool after 3 months off. It wasn't for injury, but still took time off, got back in the pool, somehow managed to do 3,600 on the first practice, which was insane. But after I was like, I'm sore everywhere.
That's the other thing. When you come back to lifting for the first time, like if you were to take I guess the 4 weeks off and you hit legs,
you can't walk for a week.
Oh my God. I guess the only time that pain's ever like this. All right,
could you also scoot back in a little bit again? You're like
I keep it out of frame. Anyway, this is gonna be a tangent for a real quick second. The only like I felt like that leg pain is like what I felt like. The only time I felt something similar was first time I went snowboarding. I went
Okay.
to that so-called mountain near
Yep.
your place.
Yep.
It was icy.
So cold now. Is it just like not that big?
Oh my god, it's nothing. It was like, and it's also like mostly fake snow, which is at this point 'cause it was like February. It was just like ice, and I fell so many times. It literally hurt to sit for a week and a half. It was
Wow.
bad. It was bad, bro.
Wow.
And hitting legs the first time after 4 weeks, similar. Not nearly as long of a pain, but anyway, that was my snowboarding tangent.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I got that from, but
Well, the thing is too with that is like we in swim you can't isolate that, so you just get sore everywhere. It's not like one isolated place, right? Like if you have a leg day, like you're not gonna get sore in your shoulders.
Well,
not if I do it wrong enough.
well, and also just like specifically talking about coming back from an injury too. What I noticed a lot of was like kind of what I meant more by losing confidence in it is that like I am extremely aware of everything I'm feeling in my shoulder, and like the slightest bit of pain, I'm scared that I've re-injured it. Even if it's like it's just sore because you haven't done that amount, or like it's kind of tight because I mean, swim is it's a repetitive motion. You're gonna get a little like wear and tear in your shoulders regardless. But it was really hard to like know then what my limits should be, because like you're going to have to push yourself a little bit, but obviously you don't want to re-injure it. And so like now I've kind of realized that like, okay, swim will make it a little bit sore. For the most part, it's not actually going to cause any injury. Same with running, actually, which was really annoying because I started running when my shoulder was injured as like this doesn't use my arms. And then I realized that going back and forth like this aggravates it, but it's not injuring it worse. So like as long as I haven't done something else recently that's going to like put it kind of my shoulder at risk, quote unquote, I can deal with a little bit of soreness when I'm swimming.
You didn't run floppy armed.
Just
let it dangle.
Whereas in something like rock climbing, when I did again try and like climb again after doing some PT, which side note, I didn't do enough PT, so like maybe this wouldn't be an issue if you like actually did
Real.
the full whatever. But
Big
it was
PT.
just like there were certain moves that I would do before that I don't want to do now because I don't know if they would cause injury, and it's not really something you can do halfway. So it's just like, honestly, I was more asking about like, how do you deal with that? Because I still don't know. Like, cause like there's pushing my arm behind me like this. I can't do that with weight.
You hate. It really just sucks. You gotta go back to PT, or at least get some
Yeah.
direction of what you can strengthen.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I have like the PT exercises I was given. I try and do them on like, when I was going to the gym, I would like do the exercises either at like the beginning or end of a workout and stuff. I just haven't been going to the gym recently. So
There's your problem right there.
And I've been saying this for decades. Actually, you know what? No. Everyone should stop going.
He was 1 year old.
Everyone should stop. and I was 2 years old saying, guys. No, everyone should stop going to the gym so that there's less people in the gym. But to answer your thing, I don't know how to handle it either. Like a PT and like just trying to ease back in, and actually like what's helped me a lot is trying to understand, like especially with my shoulder. I kind of really like dug into what the like how to like test your like mobility in your shoulders and like how to test like which direction like you need to strengthen it. By doing that with like a personal trainer, I was able to figure out what I need to do to strengthen that. Then I was able to research like what muscles I need to work on. And for weightlifting, it's kind of easier because like it is just like most of the time like, hey, this hurts probably because you didn't have this stability muscle worked too well, and like they'd be like, hey, try this, and I go to like work out that muscle that like I haven't really touched in a while, and it's like, oh my god, like I'm really weak here, and you just work on it for a little bit, and it's like, okay, great, now we're back. But with something like this one direction of shoulder, it causes shoulder pain, like that's a little tough.
I think that's more just like it's still injured.
Well, I was low key. I was thinking that, but like I didn't want to say it.
No, you can say it. It's okay. But I think like the part of what I struggle with is that like in some senses when you come back, like you do need to do those tests to see where you're at. And I'm scared to do the tests.
Because you're worried you're still gonna be injured, or
A little bit, yeah. Or I'm worried I'm going to like just re-injure it somehow by doing the test, which probably means it wasn't healed in the first place.
which yeah.
Yeah.
But
You should go to the doctor. I think. Have you had your physical recently? Ooh.
let's not talk about that.
No, I'm kidding.
It's really just about easing back in, right? Like taking the time to like not pushing yourself too hard from the get-go, which I'm saying after I did a 3,600 yard practice for the first practice back. But like, granted, I wasn't injured, so that was completely like out of the question. But like, it's really all about pacing yourself, and even if you do like, let's say 700 yards the first practice back, that's still fine. Yardage is yardage. You know what I mean? Like, doing less on the first practice back is not a bad thing. Because, I mean, we started off in the fall doing, I think, 2,000, right? First practice.
We did 2,800 the first practice because you rode a really long practice.
You remember that?
Because we said
And
20
she's still bitter.
because we said 2,500, and then Ruchi goes, it's actually 2,800. Is that okay? And I said, yeah, sure. I am dead by 2,200, and I'm like, oh my god, there's still 600 more.
You should have said no. I would have changed it.
Well, like I didn't know, and it was good. We pushed ourselves, and then we did like 2,900 the next week, and it was fine.
And my shoulder
But-
hurt.
Okay, well, we still went from 2,800 to 4,000 to 4,000 plus. So like we were in a good range, and we still had to build our way up. You know what I mean? Like we didn't just immediately start at that yardage, and I think that was a good thing, especially with your injuries. It was a good thing. But yeah, I think like it's very important to like pace yourself and not just like stick yourself there and be like, I'm doing all of this today. Now, granted, I do that, but don't listen to me.
You're a different case because you're just like fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't write.
Sure.
I think it's also hard with coming back after taking a break, whether it be injured or not, but I think especially with injuries is like, and we've talked about this a lot, like building that routine and like staying consistent with it and figuring out how to build back up. Because like, yeah, you can start with 700 yards. Yeah, you can start with a lighter weight. You can start with climbing a lower grade. But like, even though you know that's where you have to be, it's like really hard to not, at least for me, I find it really hard to not get discouraged when I'm like, I used to be able to do that, and now I have to be doing this, even if like, yeah, I could probably push myself and do that, but then I'm gonna be sore for 2 weeks. I might re-injure myself. And so like, you have to start lower, but then also like knowing then how much you can push yourself, how fast you can build back up, and then just actually staying consistent with that routine is really hard.
Yeah. And well, I was going to say, and I think we definitely felt this, and I felt this heavily, and we've talked about this, Emmy, but when I came into college, like club swimming, right, I didn't have the same speed that I had in high school. And I started to slowly see those times that I had in high school kind of get further and further away from me. And I remember like, I used to be extremely disappointed, in my times because like even just comparing me before and me now. And I mean, everyone goes through that progression of then plateauing kind of like, okay, like you're not at a certain point, you're not going to get faster. Right. So,
Except we will keep getting better forever and ever because we're special.
No, it's
Right.
true. That's true.
right. Yeah.
Preach.
We're special. We never peak, we're still at our peak. We haven't hit the spot of plateau.
I don't actually stop growing. I'm not like the other ones.
But yeah, exactly what we talked about in the previous episode. I don't think it was the last one, but a couple ones ago, about how like you can't compare yourself to your past self and even your past like in like before your injury self, because this is like a new version of yourself, right? So you can't, if you compare, like we said, comparison is a thief of joy.
My brain disagrees. It says, yo, old Kyle is still you, little bro. Get out there.
No, me too. And that's the problem is like I had like really high expectations because I knew, oh wait, back in high school I used to swim a minute 100 fly. Now I swim 100 fly, nowhere close to a minute. And I'm like, but I can get there. And it's like,
I'm doing that right now. I used to be able to pick up the 80-pound dumbbells and like rep them out for chest press. And that's how I hurt myself. Like that was part of the reason my like shoulder pain got really bad because I was trying to work, or I was able to like muscularly move up in weight really quickly, but not like ligaments and rotator cuff, that kind of thing. And it's really defeating to be like, all right, I'm going back to the gym today for the first time, and you pick up like half that weight, and it's like,
yeah,
it still even kind of hurts a little bit. And it's like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. And like, sure, you get over it eventually because you start making progress again. It's like, okay. Sure, I'm not doing the same weight I used to do, but I'm still making progress. I can see myself going from like the 40s to 50s to 60s. And it's like, okay, I'm still making progress, but it's not nearly as much as I like used to do. And it's like, that kind of sucks. And when it comes to weightlifting, because it is, again, numbers on circles, it's like really easy to be like,
it's easy with times
too. I was about to say, it's also probably the same for times actually too.
And the thing is like, especially like the way you have to think about it too is like the routine is completely different now, right? Like back in school, at least my routine was ridiculous and like super intense, and like it makes sense why I was fast, right? Like why I did, like I could do a minute in a 100 fly.
There's a reason that the best athletes, their job is working out, because like generally, especially in bodybuilding and things like that, like the best bodybuilders are the ones who get up and like meander around, do their workout, and then they do nothing else. They just like get to sleep great and like eat super well. And that's it. Because their body's like low stress and they just build muscle, and that's it. And like they kill it. But for like the average person like me, like I got a 9 to 5. Like I got stuff to do. I got like trying to find an apartment right now. Like I got debt to pay. Like there's other things in my life that like are making it more difficult for me to do, like to stay consistent. And even being able to do 3 days a week, I'd be happy. Like, and the fact that I'm able to do more than that right now, I'm ecstatic, genuinely. Like I'm still able to live a full life outside of the gym, outside of like work, and still be able to have all that balance. It's great. And you should reward yourself for having any amount of routine right now.
Thanks.
And just, again, bringing this back to injuries, I think it's also like I know we've been speaking more generally about routines as well, but like being able to celebrate like what you can do is really important when coming back from a break. Being like, yeah, I can work out 3 days a week now. Yeah, it's not as much as it used to be, but like if you can do that with like, let's say minimal pain, that's great.
And also if you can say that and mean it and not be like, oh, I wish I could do more, that's great.
And really hard.
Really hard.
Very hard.
Like, although I will say, after all the breaks I get to do, I do look forward to like my first workout coming back. Like I actually am excited, which I think it shows that I love it. I'm there for me. But like I think at this point I'm like, sure, I might be disappointed that I can't lift as much, but like at this point I also expect that. I'm not like, oh man, I can't do the weights I used to, and then I cry. Like no, I'm like all right. It's more of like let's get back to there. Let's just make some progress. And I think that's a healthy mindset to take back into anything once you've fallen off from it or like got injured from it or whatever it may be. So for the audio listeners,
I think our video just died. Should we just finish this out as audio? I've seen that done before.
So bye.
Well, yeah, thank you for being here, Kyle. Thank you for joining us for, part 1 and part 2. We appreciate it a lot.
Guys, the podcast is great. I'll say it.
Thank you.
People don't want to say that.
Thank you.
They've been hating. I've read.
Have you been hating? Is this what?
You know, the one viewer.
He's the stick. We're the carrot now.
What? I am not the stick.
Anyway, to wrap this up, thank you all for listening. Unfortunately, you can't see us right now, so But thank you for watching the beginning of this episode. Hopefully it's saved. Subscribe, like the pod.
We need the third mic. And when I say we, I mean the podcast.
Donate.
Subscribe to us on Patreon. It's not open yet.
Cash App us.
Venmo us. Yeah.
Wire me some money, please. Send me some Bitcoin.
Leave a comment. Follow us on Instagram. We're at Take Your Mark Pod. And our YouTube is also Take Your Mark Pod. You can find us. And I think that's it. So thank you again. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.